Hey everybody! So today we're going to take a look at another one of these really cool sets from Rokr, another cool wood set. I believe this is their latest offering. So this is the Gear Ball Challenge. And what it is it's kind of like, well, it's based on a video game. If you look at the overall shape, it looks like a video game controller. It's got these buttons that you'll push and activate. I think there's some dials on the side that you're going to turn. And what it's going to do is you're going to, I don't know if it's like a race against time or whatever, but you're going to like push this button. It's going to make the ball jump up on these stairs. It's going to go around this loop type of thing, and it's going to go up on this ramp. And from there, you use a knob that's going to make this clear plastic section of wheel. It's going to make the ball kind of go maybe in a little maze or something like that. And I think it's going to go down two different ramps, maybe one that goes this way and one that goes this way. And these also turn. And there's some kind of thing you got to do with those to make those turn as well. Maybe it has something to do with this button. So it looks like a really neat set. Here's another view of it, and it just kind of shows you some details of the back. These are always fun to build. These Rokr sets, I gotta say, I just love these things. They have got it mastered down to a science now when it comes to these wood kits, because they really make it so that they go together really good. Even the more complicated ones go together really excellent. All right, well, let's take a look at the parts. So there are 9 panels of parts for this. So there's quite a few parts. It's a bigger kit than I thought it was going to be. That's going to be part of the base right there. And you can see all of this going on. There's going to be a lot of pieces where they bend. And they usually are really good about giving you extras of those because they're very fragile and they break a lot. Lots of gears. There's going to be a lot of waxing of the parts in this set. Some more stuff going on here. Some nice detailing on these parts as well. Ooh, look at those. I always like when they add that kind of texture to it. Wow, lots of small parts. Ooh, look at all these. Oh my goodness. Now, for me, the part that takes the longest is just sanding the parts. Because, when you pop them off of here, it leaves little burrs on there. And I make sure I sand all the burrs off. Because you never know if it's going to affect the overall working of the set. But also, it just looks better when you don't have little burrs, that are all rough on the edges. But it takes me longer to sand these than it does to actually build the kit. It's kind of funny. Then here's the last part. All right, and then we got some more hardware to go along with this. Here are some of the additional parts. So now this is that really neat looking maze piece. The ball is going to go through there. So I guess you're going to have to kind of get it through this maze. And then it's also got this back panel right here. And then there's a small little round piece right there. So that's very cool. And then we also have a bell. So it's going to have a bell sound. Maybe after you achieve it, you get a bell. There's also a piece of sandpaper so you can sand off the burrs. And then this is interesting. This is like a sheet of, see, it's like frosted smooth plastic. Maybe it's to help make things, maybe they're like sliders to make things move smooth. That's my guess. And then over here, what do we got here? Oh, okay, we got another. I love these screwdrivers. They're great. There's a couple of O-rings right there. There's the balls, some metal rods, some looks like some nuts and washers. Oh, there's a spring in there. That's interesting. All right. Then we also have, what is that? Wow, look at that. Ooh, what are those springs? Okay, those are even tinier springs. I hope they're not all knotted together. Then, of course, they give you some wax. That's always good. So you're probably going to use a lot of wax on this because there was a lot of gears in there. There is also these spacers. Those are good to have. And then what is this? Oh, there's some more spacers. These look like they're narrower. All right, well, guess I'll get started on this. Should be an interesting build for sure. All right, so this is what I got going on so far. So lots of gears, once again, for this particular set. And, of course, lots of waxing. So you got these little wheels on the side, and they got these little rubber rings on it so that you can grip them. You can see that it turns this side of the rings. So that's going to operate whatever it is that you're going to do with that. And then we have another one on this side. There's another ring wheel that you can turn, and that turns these gears. And you can see it also turns that. So I'll be interested to see what these do. But you definitely got to use a lot of that wax. You'll be using a lot of it. They give you 2 in this package. 2 of these little crayons, which is great. But getting between those gears, and anytime the gears are sliding up against the wood or anything like that, but that's what it looks like. You can kind of see the overall shape of the game controller right here. So it's pretty cool. So I haven't even begun to start building all the top section. That should be pretty interesting. Okay, so I've got quite a bit done now. I've been working on this for a while. So I got the entire top layer put on this whole thing here. All the outer edge here that you can see, there's like a really nice frame that goes around this whole thing. And you can see how there's even some decorative looking parts on here. See what this side looks like here. And it goes all the way around. See how nice that looks? And then we also have started building some of this stuff. So we have this little ramp. When the ball comes down, it's going to hit this little bell. It's the same kind of bell that we saw in the pinball machines, but it has this little, I don't know if you can hear it. There we go. So I guess it's going to signify that you've made it through there. The ball will eventually drop down in this hole, and when it drops down in there, the weight of it makes this little flag pop up. It's kind of cool. So it's like the victory lap, I guess, or maybe just the finish line. Now this thing is really cool. This is, you can see here, we got this crazy little stuff kind of build going on. So this button here, when you push it, see how it's making this thing go up and down? So it's going to be a stair mechanism. I think the ball starts here. And so when you push it, you're going to, everything's manual. There's no electronics to this. So when you push this, it raises that up, makes the ball go to this level, then the next level, and you keep going in there, and eventually it falls down in here. And that's where you have to kind of hit this kind of hard. When you hit it, it's going to make a thing down inside here, make the ball shoot up straight. You can see where the arrow is right there. And then it comes around this corner, or it comes around that little loop right there. And then it's going to probably fall down on a ramp or something, I'm guessing. Thankfully, these did not break on me. These things, they're usually pretty, I try to be very careful with these. This one here looks like it's kind of stressed, but it held up. And then we have another one over here. There's another little loop type of thing in there. And this same mechanism hits, I don't know if we can see it. See that little thing moving? Oh, let me see if I can focus on it. See that thing moving down there? So that's going to kick the ball up and go over here, and then it's probably going to hit some other ramp as well. So it's a neat little tower. There's a neat little robot right here. I'm guessing that's what this little guy is. You can see he's got little arms. I don't think he does anything. I think he's just for looks. And then let's see what else. This knob here is still going to operate this. And then this thing is the thing I'm currently working on. This thing was quite an interesting build here. You can see it's a big old bunch of gears. Tons of wax, get wax in between those teeth. But there's this plastic. I like the mixture of wood and plastic in here. But what it is it's a little maze. I'm not sure if I can kind of show it. I probably should have showed it before I built it. But there's a maze in there. And so the ball's going to enter through that little hole right there. It goes into a hole in the plastic. And from there, you got to manipulate this back and forth to make it go through the maze, and then it pops out somewhere on right here. It'll pop out right there. There's a hole. So when you attach this to this part right here, turning this wheel is what's going to turn those gears, and that's what's going to allow you to move that. It's really cool. I love it. So it's going to be just kind of like an obstacle course of things that you have to get through to, kind of get through the whole thing. And I'm sure the first few times you're going to try it, it's going to be a little bit challenging until you get used to it. But I really love this thing. It's, as usual, with Rokr stuff, it's going together so good. All right, well, I guess I'll get back to work on it. Okay, so there's even more stuff done now. This whole thing is installed. And we got all these things going on. There's a lot of stuff going on the back. I was surprised to see that. So there's some ramps over here. There's some ramps over here. And then that's kind of what the whole back section looks like. There's this cool little thing right in here. I don't even know what you call this, a centrifuge or something. So when I turn this knob down here, you can see how it turns this maze. You're going to go back and forth. But there's this thing in here. I did not know this was back here, so it's kind of cool. But now see this little piece down inside there, that little angled piece? Now, when I was popping those off of the parts trees there, I don't know what happened to the other one. There's one on right there, and then there's another one right here. And I don't know what happened to the other one. I looked high and low. I couldn't find it. So I had to make another one. I had to make one myself. So I'm not even sure which one it is now. I think it's this one. You can just kind of see it right in here, that thing. So I just took some scrap pieces of wood that were left over from the other parts and then just kind of shaped it to the same angle as that one. And then I had made it a little too long, so it was getting caught on the edge right there on that piece. So I had to kind of cut it a little bit. But thankfully, I was able to make another piece like that. But I guess the ball is going to drop in here, and then by spinning it around, it's going to drop down in that hole and drop down this ramp. But this is really cool. I love this thing. There's a lot of neat things. It should be pretty fun doing this little challenge once it's all done. All right, so there's not much left to do. Oh, here, I forgot to show you this. This is really cool. So this is going to go on the front. And this is see the little gear. Let me see if I can do this one-handed. Maybe not. There's a gear right here. And, well, I'm not going to be able to turn this. But when you turn this, those things inside here turn. Right in here. And I wish I could get that to turn because, oh, here, I just did it now. Sorry about this. There we go. So you can see how this is kind of turning. Now that part's going to attach to the front of this, and this whole thing is going to fit down here where you see those little curved bits. But what's going to happen is the balls are going to drop down inside these little fork-like things. And so you're going to have to kind of go back and forth, I guess, to make it fall down in there, and it goes to the next level. But it's kind of a neat little thing. There's kind of a lot of parts that made up this section. You can see I waxed some areas that they didn't tell you to wax, but I went ahead and waxed them anyway because the wood does kind of rub on certain parts. But anyway, I should have this completely done now. There's not much left to do. So once it's all finished, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, here it is, all finished now. Man, this thing was quite the build. But it all went together perfect, just like usual with Rokr kits, like I mentioned. But there's a lot to this. I don't know. It's just kind of cool. It's kind of like it reminds me of this old thing that was from like I think it was like the 1980s. It was called "Don't Bite the Pavement." It was a fun little challenge where you had to keep hitting this button to make the ball go through different obstacles. Well, it's kind of something like that, except the fun of this is that you also get to build it, and there's a lot more challenges in here. All right, well, let's take a look at all the stuff that you do with it. So the challenge begins right here. You put this little steel ball right on this little spot right there. All right, and then you use this little button here, and when you push it, see how it goes up these little steps? And it gets all the way back there. All right, and then you got to hit this button hard to make it go around this little curve. So let me see if I can do it. I got to switch hands here. So we're gonna hit this, and it's gonna go up. So, so try it again here. There we go. All right, so now it went onto this ramp over here. So it went so quick. I'll have to see if I can get a better view. It went down this ramp and came over here. So now you can see it's sitting right here. So now the next thing you're going to do is you're going to use the knob right here. And when you turn this, it turns this. Now there's an opening. If I can get the reflection just right, you'll see there's going to be an opening right here on the little, and it doesn't matter which way you go. I guess, well, it doesn't matter. I'm going to go this way so we can kind of see it coming. So let me see, where is it? Okay, it's coming up here. So see, there's a little hole right there. So that's where the ball falls in. Now you got to keep moving this. So we know the ball won't go any further that way. So we're going to have to move it this way. Sorry, it's so hard to do this one-handed. And the ball falls down right there. All right, so now it's down there. So now we got to move it, and it's going to fall through this little hole right there. Okay, and then we move it back so that it comes back, and it goes down that little thing. You can hear it. You can keep hearing it fall down until it goes to the very bottom down there. All right, so now we got to come back around to this side. So now you see that little tunnel right there, if I can focus on it. All right, so let me see if I can bring the ball up. And then the ball should come out right here, goes around this ramp, where it now comes to this little thing. All right, so you can see the ball kind of fell down in there. Now that's where this knob on this side comes in. So you're gonna turn it. You're gonna turn it away from you. You're gonna go this way, and then that's when this thing is going to start. See if I can get a grip on it here. So we're going to keep on turning it. You'll see the ball is right there. It drops down into the next one. And from here, it's going to go down onto this other ramp right there. And you hear that little bell? So that's when it hits the little bell right down inside there. All right, so then from there, we got to keep it moving. So now the ball has fallen down in there. See it right there? So now the way we get it out of there is we use this button on this side right here. So you're going to have to hit this to make it bounce up. So let me see if we can get a view of this. And then let me see if I can pull back a little bit. This is not the easiest thing to film here, all right? So let me see if I can hit this button just right to get that up on that ramp. I don't know if I can do it from this angle. See, oh, there we go. Okay, so it jumps up this little hill right here, goes down in here, and now the ball is down inside here. So once again, we got to hit this button up here. You got to hit this hard to make it jump up into this little loop. See that little curve right there? So we'll make it jump up so that it'll come out onto that ramp. There we go. And now it just came down and dropped down into this hole right here on this ramp. And then from there, it goes into that little centrifuge thing, as I like to call it. Okay, so now we can see the ball has fallen down inside right there. So by turning this knob right here, it makes this spin. So you can go either way that you want to turn it. You can see it turning around in there. Now, once it goes, there's a hole right about here. And once it falls onto the hole, it goes onto this ramp, drops into a hole down in here, and then a victory flag is going to pop up. All right, so let's see if I can get this on here just right. And we'll see if we can drop it in that hole. If I can find it, there we go. And there's that victory flag. I absolutely love that. That is really, really cool. Let's try it from this angle. So we'll put the ball back in the starting position. It could go up the stairs and then hit it. Go down that ramp right there. Now there is a little hole right here that it gets stuck on. I'm going to have to see if I can put something in there to kind of make sure it doesn't get stuck. See that little, it's where the connector part goes in there, but it's a little frustrating that it gets stuck there. It doesn't do it all the time. All right, so let's see if we can get that ball in that maze. There we go. And then from here, we just keep on going back and forth to make the ball fall in there. All right, back and forth. Okay. Okay, now it's at the very bottom. So let's bring it over here again so that it can come out of this little hole right here. So let me see if I can bring it around. And there it goes. Oh, it's got stuck on there. You know, this table may not be the most level table either. Let me see if I can get that to move. There we go. All right, so now it's back over here. And then turn this. It's funner to play when you don't have to film it. Okay, so here it goes. There's the bell. All right, then we got to hit this button to make it jump up on that ramp. And then from there, we hit this button to make it jump on that ramp down into the centrifuge thingamajig. And then here, I'm going to see if we can catch that flag popping up. Oh, I didn't reset the flag. Okay, there we go. And now, turn this. See if I can get it to hit that hole just right. That's actually probably the most tricky part, is just getting it through there. There we go. And there's the flag. So yeah, it's really cool. It's funner to play when you don't have to film it, because it's hard to film this because some of the action's up here and then some of it's down inside there, which is hard to see. And it's also, there's stuff going on back here as well. And so it's hard to kind of get in there. But I think you kind of get the idea of how this works. I mean, it's actually pretty fun. I really like it. It's got some challenges. along the way, especially trying to get it over here and making it jump up onto the proper ramp. But it's really cool. Now, in case you're wondering where all the balls go once they drop down in here, they go into this little thing right here. It's like a little drawer. Now, I will say it's not the easiest thing to get into this. And the only reason it's as easy as it is here is because I had to modify this. So here's where the balls end up. As you can see, it's like a neat little tray. There's a hole right here, so you can just pour them out, and then there they are. Now, the only problem with this is that it just wouldn't slide very well on these things. There's these pieces that stick out on here and here, and I hated it. They just wouldn't stay on very good. So I had to cut these off. I cut that off and cut that off. And this thing here, I think, is to keep it from, going too far in, because it ends up hitting that little piece of wood back there, but it ends up hitting the spring. That spring right there is what makes this. That's what makes the little victory flag pop up. So I'm going to probably end up cutting this off too, because I don't like that it keeps hitting the spring. But if you can't get this drawer to come out very good, like I couldn't, I mean, the thing was stuck in there, just cut these off and forget about even using these little runners down here, because it'll stay in place anyway because of the way that it tucks in like that. See, I mean, it tucks in right in there, but I don't like how it keeps hitting that spring. But anyway, that's where the balls end up when you're all done. All right, well, there we go. The Gear Ball Challenge from Rokr. This is their newest creation, and I gotta say, I really love it. It was fun to build it, really fun to play with. I really like it. My only gripe is that drawer. I kind of wish they would have had it so that once the ball goes in there and you get the victory flag, that it just drops out over here and maybe into a tray or something outside instead of having to drag this thing out. But I think the idea behind this was to have a place to store the balls if you move this around somewhere, which I understand that, but it's just really not the easiest to access. But it is a lot of fun. It's really cool. I forgot to mention this cool little, it's like a little crane arm right here. It's not really meant to move. It's just for decoration. But this retails for $50, and I don't think it's on Amazon yet. It's too new. It's so new that it wasn't on Amazon. So I just bought it directly from Rokr, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to get this. This is not a paid promotion for Rokr, but I just think I just love their kits. Their kits are fun. I don't know who designs this stuff or who their designers are, but I gotta say they're very, very good. They're very clever at this kind of stuff. This is a lot of fun. I don't know, something about this I really like. And, it's not too big either, so it doesn't take up a whole lot of room. But I like the mixture of plastic and wood, and everything moves really good. These buttons are very good. They operate just fine. These little things here, you're going to have to move them a few times to get everything working. This in particular is a little tight, but I think the more that I move it, the better it's going to get. And maybe moving it back and forth might be a little bit better, or maybe even loosening up where it connects there might loosen them up as well. But, once you get everything going, it works just fine. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons. I'd very much appreciate it. And until the next time, I'll see you on the next video. So thank you so much for watching, and have a good one.